After his son is captured in the Great White Barrier Reef and taken to Sydney, a timid clownfish sets out on a journey to bring him home.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Louise,
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 70.
Episode 70, we are seniors.
We are recording very early in the morning. I mean, not very early, but,
This is very early.
but it's early. It's on a Saturday. It's early.
No. You walked in the door and I was still asleep in my bed. Okay, this is early.
I like water.
What?
What?
I like water.
Are you talking about...
I like the ocean.
Oh.
Are you talking about your
Jeez.
affinity with the water?
Oh, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. We're talking about Finding Nemo.
This
La,
week,
la, la, la,
we
la.
are discussing 2003's Pixar animated film.
Y'all said it was early. So.
Finding Nemo.
Also, the reason we're recording so early is because Andre and I are going to a family reunion later. But we were also up semi-late because a certain somebody named Luis graduated with his master's degree. He is no longer the Padawan master. He is.
Down. Louise is a master.
So congratulations, Luis.
Congrats to Louise. He's not on mic right now. He's doing
dishes.
stuff.
He said thank you. He's being a good husband.
So yeah, congrats to Louise and shout outs to him and his new degree.
And shout out to Finding Nemo,
2 degrees on the wall.
a movie that we're doing that came out in the year 2003, starring Ellen DeGeneres as Dory and
Who else?
someone as Marlin and someone as Nemo.
It's Albert Brooks as Marlin and then a kid named Alexander Gould as Nemo.
Which we looked at a picture of the kid as like how young he was when he played Nemo, and then we looked at one now and we were like, whoa, aging.
I mean, yeah. He was like 10 and now he's like 25 or whatever.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh, God.
I think he said he was born in 94. No, he's not 25 then. He's 20.
What year were you
4?
born?
93. Oh, shoot.
He's 25.
He's 25 then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What year
I
were
did.
you born?
I was born in 93. I'm 26.
so 1 year off.
Yeah. And you're 26.
It's early. I forgot how to do math. Andre, first impressions of the Finding Nemo.
Oh,
I love how it's the Finding Nemo, too.
The Finding Nemo.
The Finding Nemo, the Finding
Finding.
Dory. We're talking about the Finding Nemo.
The Finding of Nemo. This is a great movie. It's very fun and I like the water as well. I like to watch it. I don't like to be in it, but I like to watch the water and its occupants. So this movie had a lot of good fish stuff in it, and it was fun. I don't remember the first time I watched this. I assume I went to the theaters to see it as a youngling. I was probably like 12 when this movie came out, I think. So I assume I enjoyed it then as well. Who else?
All right. Michelle's first impression, in case you didn't know my voice apart from Emily's.
Oh, my. Michelle.
You know, as all movies with ocean creatures go, I've seen this movie at least like 50 times, okay? Because my younger sister was very obsessed with it, therefore we just watch it all the time. So, do I have this movie memorized? Yes. Was I saying the lines a lot? Yes. Is it a great movie? Yes. Does it make you feel things? Yes.
So, you like it?
So I like it. It's a good movie. It's not my favorite Pixar movie, but it's up there. It's good. I like it. Emily. Uh-oh.
It's a movie.
Oh, no. Disagreement on the Walt Vault.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
I mean,
Is it a movie
it's on
that you
film.
enjoy?
It's also on a DVD.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your first impression? We know it's a movie.
It was made by Pixar.
Yeah.
I'll
These
say
are
it.
all-
Emily thinks this movie's subpar.
These are all facts.
Okay. There is nothing wrong with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed parts of it, but I remember watching it as a kid and being bored.
What?
Oh, interesting.
I was. I don't know. I didn't connect
Fish
with
are
it.
friends, not food. Come on.
Truth. I don't like to eat fish, so I agree with that statement. But
Mm-hmm.
I also then I watched it again, and I like I said, there was freaking funny parts,
Right.
but not my favorite movie. But there's nothing wrong with it, so it's not like I didn't like
Right.
a certain
Yeah.
thing. It's just it didn't connect.
How you
to
feel
me.
about Finding Nemo is probably almost how I feel about Finding Dory.
Probably, yeah,
Because like I
liked
liked it. It was cool.
See, I liked Finding Dory a lot better.
I didn't.
So-
I liked it. It was cool. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But
It just wasn't your favorite.
I don't think I'll really ever watch it again. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how I feel about Finding Dory.
Yeah.
So interesting perspective. Luis, first impressions of Finding Nemo.
Exactly the same as Ems. I wasn't very thrilled on Nemo, but I did like Dory a whole lot more.
Finding Dory.
I did like Dory a whole lot more, yes.
Yes. Well, I mean,
Which is funny because when Dory came on screen, he was like, "Oh my god."
well, she's bigger
Dory.
there. Yeah. But, you know, I think the reason I appreciate this movie so much is that as Pixar likes to do, they put a lot of research into this movie.
Yes.
So everything looks fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Everything
Animation's off the
looks
charts.
lifelike.
The first couple scenes, like when they're in the reef still, when they're on in
Amazing.
their home,
And
it is
anemone.
yes, so gorgeous.
Like, and
So
the way
pretty.
that the water moves, or even silly things like how Mr. Ray sings a song about protozoa, blah, whatever. You know, like they did a lot of research into this movie about the different creatures and how things actually work in the ocean, or even the EAC. I'm like, I didn't know what that was before
Yep.
this movie, you know? So
Yep.
props to Pixar for that, but what else is to be expected of Pixar? You
It's
know?
kind of like
So-
they made a whole movie based on the song Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid. They're like, okay, well, what if we show them how Under the Sea is better? Down where it's wetter.
And we took it from Sebastian.
Take it from him.
Sebastian has now crushed the
very,
turtle.
very few crabs, though.
True.
Yeah.
He's definitely not. He's not that fun.
We're kidding, Luis.
Louis,
Louis,
if
it's
you're gonna
sarcasm.
talk, sweetie, you have to be on the microphone.
Different accent, too.
Well,
Can
nobody
you
heard
pick
what
it
he
up?
said.
It's literally 2 inches from your face.
Get him we got to get Luis a headset because he's
There he is.
mobile.
He got
Yeah.
mad that we talk crap on Sebastian.
No, I'm just saying they're completely different.
They are completely living. You're correct. So
Sebastian annoyed me, so.
I have to say, another thing Pixar's very, very good at is breaking your heart in the first 10 minutes of a movie. So, you know,
Yep.
and this is like a recurring theme with Pixar movies, like, let's kill someone right now so that you're really sad already.
It's like,
So-
where are the stakes? Are the stakes like in the middle, or
Nah.
can we take them super high? Like
Right?
stakes
Put them
are
And they
up
high.
just
there.
have to do that. So I remember being like, oh, cute, a cute little clownfish couple. Oh, look at all their babies. Boom, eaten by a barracuda. It's kind of rude, Pixar. It's kind of sad.
Super
but it
rude.
also makes sense because that's why Marlin is an overprotective father of Nemo, the only fish who made it alive out of the barracuda, which we get.
It's
Out of
weird
the
because
barracuda.
you start thinking of the what ifs. What if she had it and swam straight into that little
And gone
egg
back
nest?
in the anemone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
like, would the barracuda,
probably would have
noticed?
eaten all the eggs, but not them.
Well, I mean, I kind of look at it in terms of she led him straight to the eggs.
Yeah, she telegraphed.
Yeah.
She told him where they were.
She looked down. She headed right down there. He was like, "Ooh, a fish! Ooh, and some
But I
eggs."
understand why she did it because her mama protected.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
saved
Right,
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Can't
not,
fault
I'm
her.
not
It's
saying it
very
was
sad.
unjustified. It was just like I would have done it.
And it's
But it's
interesting.
just like
Yeah.
if it wouldn't have happened.
It's interesting to see. I don't really like Marlin. Like, he's not my favorite character at all by far. But it is interesting seeing him be, like, so happy with Coral at the beginning and then just, like, a crazy overprotective father and then, you know, his character arc at the end and he's, like, happy again, which is nice.
Yeah, he's
But
got some
he's,
OCD, PTSD going on.
Well,
with this
PTSD
movie.
for sure.
Well, and that's, I mean, I feel like I'm a broken record now with being a parent, but like, so I wasn't, like I said, not hugely fond of it as a kid, and then when I rewatched it, this was the first time I rewatched it as an adult.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Very much so as an adult, but also, again, now I'm a parent.
As a mom, yeah.
And when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, God, right?
Right.
Because this is 100%, the whole relationship is parental on
Yes.
every front.
Oh, yeah.
Even
Of Marlin and Nemo.
Marlin and
yeah.
Dory.
Marlin and Dory, yes.
and then like when Nemo gets to the dentist office, like Gil and
yes.
Nemo, like everything is that like familial, like
I love Gil.
you know. So I'm watching this, and you're like watching sacrifice, and you're watching all these things, and then the feels come, and I'm like,
well, Andre and I both said, we were like, you know
Who's
why Emily
Gil?
hates this movie?
the black and white fish that has like the
With the
Well,
yellow
sorry.
stripe. In the
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You mean,
I like Gil.
William Dafoe.
yeah, him.
Yes.
Yes.
Andre and I,
Willem.
when we started watching this, because obviously this movie is a feel movie.
Yeah.
It has those moments. We were like, oh, this is why Emily doesn't like this movie. Like
give her
anytime we watch a
feelings.
Disney movie that has any sort of parental feelings now, we're like, yeah, Emily's going to hate this.
Yeah, she's not gonna dig it. And the worst part is that when I say that I hate it, it's because I don't. Everyone, this is your public service announcement. I don't like to deal with feelings.
Oh.
It's just
What?
makes,
So you
Emily
don't
doesn't
wanna-
like to deal with feelings?
So you don't want to watch The Fox and the Hound?
oh my.
And Michelle's overly emotional? What?
Well, and
That's why we work together.
it just makes life so much harder for me to like watch it. And,
Oh,
and
for sure.
So they did a very good portrayal of the whole thing.
Yes.
I think that's exactly how I would act. I think I would be like totally a helicopter parent, just around
yeah.
your kid 24/7.
All right. You're going to stay safe. And
Well,
I'm going to
it
make sure it's going to
literally
happen.
cracks me up when Marlin's like, you go in, and then you go back in,
That's so
and
funny.
then you
Go
go
out,
out,
and
and
then
then
we
you go back in,
out,
and then you go out, and then if you want to do it a fourth time, Nemo's like, Dad. It's literally hilarious.
Well, and then we didn't even like touch on this, which people know that he has like what they call his lucky fin, but
A gimp
not
fin.
only is he the only kid that's left, his wife is gone, all 7,000 kids or whatever are gone, but he's, he has this
He's a
little
tiny
gimpy
fin.
Yeah.
And they're saying like he's not a good swimmer, but I never really noticed that he can't swim that well. Like I think
Maybe
he
it's
swims
just that he's
fine.
not as fast.
Like
Yeah.
I don't ever really see him like limp swimming or whatever.
Limp
you know,
swimming.
Can you
like
imagine if he limp
A little
swam?
crutch for
like he
his,
seems
for that side
seems
of him.
fine, but I mean
Tiny
of course,
Tim of
Yeah.
fish.
of course that gives Marlin just another reason
God
to
bless
be
us,
overprotective. You know. And-
You know what? I don't think you could limp in the water, Michelle. Maybe it's just like you're slightly turning to one side.
It's
each time.
that's what I meant. It's like a,
Yeah.
a limp swim.
He's just always swimming in circles.
Oh
Just,
my
ah.
God.
I don't know. Would you
Always off to the left.
would you rather have a limpy fin, or would you rather be H2O intolerant in this situation? I don't know. God,
It's
that
like
little
being in a-
seahorse is hilarious.
It's like being in a rowboat with one oar and one tennis racket. Just, this isn't working.
oh my gosh. I'm H2O intolerant. I'm obnoxious.
The obnoxious one. That's very.
You are,
that's
though.
very funny.
I like how the dad's like, "Oh, tell us a joke."
Oh my
then he's
gosh.
like, "He's not very funny for a clownfish."
Dude, as a comedian, every time they ask him to tell a joke, it's triggering for me. I don't like it. No. You don't
That's
get to
so
just
funny.
demand me to be
I
funny
don't.
right
I
now.
can't remember what we were talking about, but a couple weeks ago, I was talking to my mom, and she's like, "Oh, I remember. It was when you did." So Andre did a comedy show a couple of months ago, in one of our surrounding cities, and he got it recorded, and so we were waiting for like it to be on YouTube or whatever, so we could watch
yes.
it. And I was telling my mom that I'm like, oh my God, he said it was so good, we can't wait to see it. And she's like, just ask him to do it like in your house, like just tell him like
No.
to tell you his jokes. And I looked at her and I was like, that's not how it works.
That's the thing you don't ask
Oh,
a
it works,
comedian.
Carol.
Like,
I'm like, I love Andre, and he probably would tell me like part of his set if I asked him to, but I'm not going to be like, Andre, stand up
It's
now.
not the same experience. There has to be an atmosphere, all of that.
Hilarious.
Hullabaloo that I tell people.
he's gonna touch the butt.
So yeah,
Okay,
so
okay.
this scene where Marlin is dropping Nemo off
Yes.
at school for the first time, where he keeps saying, "Oh, you can wait a year. We don't have to go to school right now. We can wait 5 or 6 years. It'll be fine." I
He's
really,
gonna be like 21.
I know.
on his
Hey, what's
fishy
up?
deathbed.
It's
He's going,
kindergarten. How we doing?
Kindergarten, sir, chill out.
But I really like it because it shows off that sense of like fish community. Like I like that they all go to a school that's taught by a stingray.
I like Mr. Ray. He's
Yes.
so funny. My favorite
Is
thing.
he a stingray or a manta ray? He's probably a manta ray, huh? Or maybe some other kind of ray.
He's a ray. He looks like a.
definitely a ray.
He looks like a manta ray, not a stingray,
Sure.
because of his coloring.
Well, no, I think he's a manta ray. Yeah,
Mhm.
because the stinger ones have like that really like distinct
long stinger.
long
Yeah,
stinger,
yeah.
and I think they're usually like brownish.
brown, yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
And he's like blue.
He's like blue.
Ask Crocodile Dundee. He'd know the difference.
Wow, Lou.
Awkward.
First of all,
You took it there.
it wasn't Crocodile Dundee. It was the other guy. It was Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin, there
The-
you go.
The
That's
out.
Steve Irwin.
What is his? Did he have
And
a?
he
a
died
moniker?
by a stingray,
Did he
not a
have a
manta
title?
ray.
Who?
The Steve Irwin. Did he?
Oh.
Crocodile hunter.
Was he the crocodile hunter?
Yes, I should know. I literally was obsessed with him and had an Australia jar that I would put money in so I could go visit him as a kid, and I never
Oh.
went because he died.
Because he's done.
You
I
go
was
visit
right.
his. You go visit his kids.
I also
you
I
did
also had a
you
journal.
also called him Crocodile Dundee because that's not a knife.
It's definitely not
This
that.
is a knife.
That's not a sting.
I think that's when I switched over to ocean
animal.
animals was when Steve Irwin died. I used to have this journal and I would write every single different type of reptile and a bio of them. And then he died and I was like, guess I have to like the ocean now.
You had to go
Oh.
seek revenge on that stingray that took out Steve Irwin.
No, definitely not. But anyways, okay, moving on. So I think a turning point kind of in the relationship of Nemo and Marlin
Oh, I was going to
It's-
say you and Steve.
no, is when Nemo tells his dad that he hates him, which is really harsh.
It was so sad.
It's very heartbreaking.
You know what?
But-
man, if I were him, I'd be like, dude, what do you know? You're 5. What do you know about
Yes,
hate?
but to Marlin,
I
remember,
wanna be phased.
if
You
we're
don't know true
if
hate.
we're going back to the beginning, he tells Coral, "What if they all hate me?"
Yeah. What
Yeah.
if, what if
and
they don't
so,
like me?
and that moment when Nemo says, "I hate you," he's like, "Oh, you know, like this, it's terrible."
Well, and can we
Um,
pause because Luis walked away from the mic? So I'm gonna call big old BS on what you just said. If Adeline ever said that to him, he would be heartbroken.
He would be
So
heartbroken,
you don't
He's
even
shaking
know.
his head. All
Yeah.
right. Come
Okay.
back to me when she's 13
I know.
and you don't let her go out and she's
And
gonna
hormones are raging.
and he's gonna
She's
cry.
like, "Yeah."
Some tears will fall into his beard.
Yes.
His
Crusty
beard's
beard.
longer by then. And then it's really a turning point also when Nemo swims out to touch the butt and the boat, and Marlin's like, "Don't you go back here!" But you know what? It's also hard. I understand where Nemo's coming from because his dad didn't trust him. He wasn't going to
Yeah.
go out there, you know. And that's really what this movie is about too, is trust. He needed to trust Dory. He needed to trust Nemo. Like, there's a lot of things that Marlin has to put trust in. He has to put trust in a whale, and
Yeah.
he has a hard time putting trust in anyone because
Well,
of
and
what
letting
happened.
go, too.
Right.
Like
And
giving
letting
a
go,
little bit of
and also because of
leeway.
what happened to him. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of these like arcs that I really, really like in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. They do a good job with their character development with all of their characters because, like, for example, actually all of them now that I'm thinking about it, but you could have just seen the shark scene, which we'll talk about the shark scene, but you could have just seen the shark scene and that have been it.
Right.
But then they come
They
back
come
at
back.
the end. Like every character
Dropping Dory
that you
off.
see, like, comes back and has some type of different.
They've grown.
Yes, they've grown in some way. And that's actually really cool because
Yeah.
so many movies will have just snippets of whatever
Yeah.
and you don't really know where they went.
But this one
So-
has like closure for everybody, which is
super
nice.
cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Nemo gets taken. I guess this dentist dude who we have yet to meet, but he's just going out into the reef and taking fish. I don't know what his deal
I don't think
is.
he always takes fish. I think he said he thought he was saving Nemo because he
Yeah.
was like out in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I guess
he was from the fish point of view kidnapped.
Yeah.
From the dentist point of view, he thought he was saving him.
saved.
Which if you think about it, it looked like at
He was
least
out
from-
there by a boat.
Yeah,
like-
at least
Yeah.
by a fish perspective, he looked far away.
He was far
Like,
away,
He
for
swam
sure.
pretty dang far.
Yeah.
So maybe he really did think like, oh, look at this poor little guy
This
by
poor
himself.
little fish.
He's gimpy.
He's one little fin.
Yeah, so
His
yeah.
tennis
I
racket
think
fin.
the only other fish that he quote unquote saved from the ocean was Gil. All the other fish were from the pet store.
Yes,
So yeah,
different pet
I don't
stores.
think he's just like constantly. He's taking like gimpy fish from the ocean, like
I'm
you know.
just saying
so
he's 2-0 because
Right.
both of the fish
They were
he
like,
got
we did
are
not want
gimpy. Yeah,
this.
so you know he's
Let me be
he's
gimpy
doing
in the
his thing.
ocean.
So Marlin swims off immediately, and his journey begins to find Nemo. But he runs into Dory, and Dory is my favorite. Like, Dory's my favorite character by far, and I don't think anybody else could voice Dory besides Ellen DeGeneres because
Agreed.
it's
Yeah.
just so perfect. And Dory's hilarious. Like, I don't know where they came up with this idea to make a forgetful fish, but it's kind of hilarious.
Well,
Like,
because have you ever heard someone say I have the
Like short-term memory loss? Yeah.
Well, not so much short-term memory loss, but like the attention span of a fish.
Oh, sure.
You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that they just like expanded on
But
that so
it's
that she can't remember.
so funny. I love it. So she's
Well,
like,
especially for Marlin to be like the quote-unquote smarter one, not
Right.
smarter, but more like
He's the straight man of
the
this
cognizant
duo, for
one
sure.
of the group, because I think clownfish are like
It's pretty
bottom
basically
fish?
like
I don't
like
know.
goldfish on terms of the fish smartness
Yes,
scale or
I
whatever.
feel-
I don't know. I have no
Funny.
idea. Clownfish like to stay in their anemones. That's all I know.
Anemones.
Anemones.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think that Ellen DeGeneres is so on a normal day, just listening to her talk, she's expressive, right? She has a really beautiful full voice. But then I was very pleased with the range of emotion you can just hear through her voice.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
she-
Ellen DeGeneres is a comic, so a comedian. So I think that was good because nobody could sing "They'll Just Keep Swimming" or do whale sounds like Ellen DeGeneres. Like I just like
I feel like
fully
they just let her do it.
I know. Well, almost like it reminds me of how Robin Williams just did his Aladdin thing.
Yep.
Like I think that they fully let her do that. But
Yes.
yeah, she has like the full range of an emotional voice actress.
So-
it was great.
Andrew Stanton, the director, they were originally going to have Dory be a male, but it said
I'm
that
so happy.
it says that he was inspired because he watched an episode of Ellen where Ellen changed the subject of what she was saying within like one sentence 5 times, just this to this to this to this to this, and he was like, oh, okay, well Dory can be her, and then they cast her.
Oh,
which
they
is- which
asked
is
her to
awesome.
do it?
Mm-hmm.
So they
That's great.
literally cast Ellen
They
DeGeneres
cast
to
her-
be Ellen DeGeneres.
Can you imagine if somebody just came up to you and was like, "Want to be in my movie?" I'd be like, "Yes."
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
can't
so
imagine
cool.
that and do all the time.
It's like that really is.
That is
my life.
That happens
so.
to me
Yeah.
every day in my head.
Yeah,
So.
so, you know. But Dory is a beautiful character because I think she just keeps like the innocence of everything, and she balances Marlin out. So she brings him down to like a childlike sense that he can understand some of these things more and just try to enjoy himself. Because if you think about the fact that, okay, well, thinking about finding Dory and Dory's story, it's freaking depressing. Okay, like she's just like lost out there in the ocean by herself and she's had nobody, but she still has this like fun childlike sense, like she's enjoying herself.
Yeah, she's
So
optimistic
she's trying
and
to
hopeful.
push that off on Marlin, which I think is very good.
Yeah, 'cause he's a negative Nelly.
He is
So-
a negative Nelly when those little silver fish are making fun of him
With the
because he's
school.
being mean to Dory. Hilarious.
So let's talk for a second. They have like a couple like pivotal scenes in between getting, because Marlin, once Nemo touches the butt and gets abducted, Marlin
Taken.
just takes off. He's like trying to follow the boat, but it's too fast. Obviously, he's super small. He can't keep up. He runs into Dory. Dory says like, I saw a boat, and then they start swimming off. Well, Dory keeps forgetting him, so he has to keep reminding her of what they're
Ooh,
doing.
I saw a boat.
And there's a couple times, so they meet what? They meet the shark.
Yes.
The sharks.
Yeah, they
Then
meet the sharks
meet,
first.
Okay, they meet the sharks. They meet the
The silverfish.
the silverfish, which is hilarious.
They
Then
go-
they go through the jellyfish.
Well, they
Yep.
they also go down.
Oh,
they don't meet
yeah.
anybody
After
down
the sharks,
there,
they
I
go
guess.
down
Oh
the
yes,
depths.
to the bottom.
the bottom. Then they come back up, meet the silverfish, go to the jellyfish, go to crush, go in a whale. Like that's intense.
Yes,
okay.
that's like 7 different things
It's a-
that they
it's a
do
journey.
before they even like get to Nemo.
Sydney. Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's insane. And so like no wonder Dory's like, dude, like you're my family now.
Right, yeah.
Like if that kind of stuff happened to me with somebody, they're my family too now. It don't matter how long it was. But I'm actually assuming that it took him a very, very, very long time to get to Nemo.
Oh,
Like
well, in the
no?
movie, in,
Oh, I think it
from
did.
Marlin's
Couple
point
weeks.
of view, it felt like a long time, but then from Nemo's point of view, it didn't seem
Right.
like
It seems like it's
I
like
think it was a
weekend,
couple weeks.
You know, you think it was a couple weeks that he was in that fish
Yeah,
tank?
well,
with
they
all
said
them?
that he was on the EAC for 3 days.
I think that, yeah.
No, I think they got the whole timey-wimey thing wrong with that one because even if he was deep-sea fishing, the coral reef really isn't that far away from Australia.
Can you put your mic up to your face?
Yeah, I was speaking loud enough.
Okay. Ooh.
But we don't know where the coral reef was.
Now,
They never
when
say.
we look at it, Finding Dory, that's a whole nother story right there. Because they're literally going from Australia all the way to California.
I would say that this movie probably takes place over the course of like a week. Like if Nemo goes,
like a
if Nemo
series
goes
of
out to
I'm
to
sorry,
touch
guys.
touch that butt, then and that's like a weekend where the dentist is going out to take the fish and visit the reef, and then throughout the week he's at his dentist's office, and then Nemo comes in on or Marlin and Dory come in on like Friday or Saturday.
I
or
mean
something
more
like that.
distance-wise, not necessarily time. They probably just got delayed so much.
Mm.
I'm only speaking distance-wise.
Oh, okay. But, let's talk about sharks.
I would say that the sharks are probably my favorite.
Yeah?
Like little
Yeah.
sub scene, just because it's
Ridiculous.
of just the
It's a
ridiculousness.
fantastic
Fish
concept.
are friends, not food.
Hello.
My name's Bruce.
They found the scariest looking sharks because
Dude,
Bruce
he's
is
so
large,
scary
Bruce
looking.
is-
His
Bruce is a
teeth
great
are
white.
terrifying.
but the other ones are
They're
also
nasty.
What are
very
their names?
scary.
I think
Yeah.
one of them is called Chum, and the other one is somebody.
Chum is the one that has like the thing
He
in
has
his
a
nose.
he has a hook in his nose, yeah, which is
Ugh.
sad, but also funny.
Craziness.
But the other one's Anchor, and Anchor is played by Eric Bana, who played the Hulk in Hulk.
No way.
Yeah, dude, he was that first Hulk.
He played the Hulk in Hulk.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hilarious. But yes, it is an absolutely ridiculous scene. And this is also, too, just so funny because Dory's like about it. I love when she goes up and she's like, "Hi, my name's Dory. Hi, Dory."
I've
Oh,
never eaten a fish
I've
before.
never eaten a fish. And they're like, "Whoa, yeah!"
Impressive.
Literally, it's
100%.
so stupid.
I mean, obviously they're supposed to be at like an Alcoholics Anonymous
Yeah.
meeting,
It's so funny.
but
Fishaholics Anonymous.
it's Fishaholics. It's so funny.
And when Dory's nose gets busted and bleeds a little bit, and then Bruce immediately launches into
Ooh, and
bloodlust.
his eyes change. And it's so funny because when we went to the Caribbean and we fed sharks, we were told, like, you can't just give them the fish because they won't smell it. So we had to, this sounds really gross, but we had to snap off the head and then shake it so the blood would come out. So that, because that's how they know food is near.
They don't see very well.
They don't
those
see
big
very
black
well,
eyes are
and they
not
can't
useful.
just like smell a fish really unless there's like blood. So they smell the blood, and then that's how they know like where the fish is. So I was like, oh, that's like totally perfect that he
That's
changed
also pretty
once.
scary though.
Once,
It's weird because
well,
they
it
can like
was-
smell blood from like a mile away.
Yeah, so they smell blood super far, but that's how they find their
And
prey.
can you imagine it being right in front of his face? He's like, "All right."
He literally like,
Yeah, the sharks we fed, like you can be like right in front of them, they like can't see, like they just
Yeah.
can't see very well.
it's like somebody pulled a fresh pizza right out of an oven in front of you, and then you'd be like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to be eating pizza, but there's one right here.
I'm eating fish tonight." And that chase scene's hilarious too because the other sharks are like, "Remember your trainer? He's really a nice guy,
He's like,
guys. Sorry."
about this. He's normally really nice. Yes, very good.
It is so stupid, but in like the best way possible.
Yes.
awesome.
Oh no, it's so funny.
Everything goes kaplooey. They blow up everything.
Oh yeah, because the sharks hang out in a submarine that is surrounded by
By
like sea
bombs.
mines, and then they take a whole what is it, torpedo
Missile
out of
torpedo
the
thing.
submarine and toss it onto the mines, and everything explodes, which is crazy.
And all during this, they managed to still have the mask on them, which is amazing.
And then when everything explodes, the birds that are sitting on like the surface of the water, it looks like a little bubble comes up, and the other bird goes, "Nice," and then flies away.
Andre was dying when he saw that.
Oh, you
But
can't top a fart joke.
you
guys.
know,
I know, like fart jokes are
So
always
after-
getting Andre.
this next part is like the creepiest part to me. So after they wake up, the mask falls down to the bottom.
The depths.
Yeah, so they have to go down there.
To Davy Jones' locker.
And
Yeah.
literally, like, Dory's having, like, an existential crisis. She forgets who Marlin is, and it's like, are you my conscience? So
Yes.
stupid. Yes, I'm your conscience. And so those fish, the lantern fish, that is how they, like, reel in their prey. Because I almost think of, like, Bug's Life, where he's like, the light.
Yes.
I can't help it.
It's
And
so
he like it's that so
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's like what they were saying. They're like, I'm just so happy. And that fish
like,
is
which
the
is a big deal for me.
creepiest fish I have ever seen.
Blech,
If
it's
I
the
saw
teeth.
that fish in real life ever, I would. Oh God.
I mean, they're absolutely terrifying, and they live at
the very bottom of the
They live
ocean.
at a depth where we couldn't be down there, really. Like,
we can't
it's-
see.
Well,
either.
no,
Well,
but
no,
also
but-
it's so pressurized
the
down
pressure,
there.
I
We
think
would we would be crushed.
Yeah.
Honestly, it kind of doesn't make sense that Nemo and Dory are down there, but it is makes for a very fun
We'll
scene.
suspend that disbelief. It does make for a very good scene. So, and this is where very quickly Dory needs to read what it says, and I really
yeah, 'cause
don't
Dory can
understand
read.
why Dory can read, but it's fine.
Oh, I think they might explain that in Finding Dory. It's just because she like lived at an aquarium and there's like stuff on the walls everywhere with like signs and stuff. So maybe she like learned to read.
I don't know. P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
when they first discovered that she could read, she's like, "Oh, look, it says escape." That's crazy.
Escape.
It's spelled just like escape.
See, and that's why I love her, though. She's so ridiculous. I
So
love
funny.
it. So she
funny.
remembers what it says, and then she's just super
While
excited.
Marlin is being chased by the glowfish.
It's fine. They get away from the glowfish. And then she just keeps chanting like, I'll say it again. If you want me to say it again, let's be sure for 2 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
It's exciting.
I guess I'll tell you again. Be sure for 2 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Because she hasn't remembered something for that long, presumably since she was a child or whatever, right?
Well, I mean, the thing about the concept, she's forgets a person.
Yeah.
But she doesn't forget the
But she
address. Like,
remembers
that's
this.
pretty cool.
And
Yeah, it is.
It's very interesting that she remembered, and I have also remembered since 2003. P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Like,
There's literally hats at Disneyland that say P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
And the best part is that people were trying to find P. Sherman.
oh, absolutely.
Probably. It's probably
bet
not a real address. I
every
hope
year.
it's not a real address because that poor person
Let's Google it.
getting like a million things sent to them during this 2003 year.
Can you imagine?
That's kind of hilarious, though. But Marlin at this point is basically like, Dory, I'm going to go on without you, which is kind of rude, but also kind of not.
Well,
I don't know.
understand his frustration. He feels like he would get places so much quicker if he was
Yeah.
going by himself.
Right.
But think about it.
Which he expresses to her.
He literally does not know how to ask for directions.
No.
Typical man. Number 2,
She's like, what is it with men and asking for directions?
but he just doesn't trust people, so he
No.
doesn't
Right.
even feel like he could
And
ask
also,
No.
he
something.
would be dead if it wasn't for Dory by now, for sure.
For realsies.
Absolutely.
So
He never
he
would've
needs
made
her.
it.
But then this next scene comes in with the silverfish, and they're trying to cheer up Dory by doing all these cool things, which is awesome. But
Well,
I
'cause
just
Marlin is like yelling at her, and
Yeah.
the fish come up to save the day. Like, hey, is this guy bothering you?
Louis, this was your favorite part.
Which I appreciate.
was it?
Oh man, I thought they were when they were like making fun of him was hilarious.
Oh, they're in the background like. Meh, meh,
So
meh,
they're
meh.
in like they're a whole bunch of fish in a school, but the school changes shapes based
Yeah,
on what
yeah.
their like emotion is.
Mhm.
And when they turn into Marlin, I thought Luis was gonna lose it because he was like a happy fish, and then like their little shape changed, and then he was sad. He was like,
Literally,
laughing like
literally so funny.
This is the classic Pixar cameo by John Ratzenberger.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, and it
Mr.
was
Ham.
funny too because I go,
Flitwick Flea.
I was like, this is one of his longest cameos, and
All
Luis
right.
was like, he was Ham, and I was like, oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
And
maybe
he
not.
was the flea
But as
from A Bug's Life. He's
cameo,
pretty long in
wow.
that too.
But as a cameo, like a short cameo, this might be
A one
like,
a one
you know,
scener.
Yeah.
It was
Out of
good,
his one
though.
sceners, but it's brilliant, and I like how they do it on the Turtle Talk with Crush show too. And they
Yeah.
turn into the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's super clever. So then the fish tell him, oh, by the way, Dory, you're going in that direction, but don't swim over the trench, swim through the trench. And Marlin is like, yeah, no, I'm not trusting you, which is mistake number one, which I understand because she forgets things. And so he's like, no, they didn't tell you that. But
Well, and I think he heard it, but he didn't trust them either.
yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, these are the fish that live there, bro.
Right, like,
get it together.
Come on, they're not trying to
He has trust
dissuade
issues
you from finding
for
your son.
sure. Like it.
You're on a valiant journey to get your son. I do not want you to get
But
your
know
the
son.
what?
reason the trench looks so scary is because there's fish bones in it from all the fish who like died getting eaten by the jellyfish.
Right,
It's
from going over.
kind of super crazy.
Yeah, go through.
Okay,
not over.
Luis just yelled, "Jellyfish don't eat fish." That's true, but
that doesn't mean they don't kill them.
they killed them.
Yeah, I
big
mean,
time.
if they get stuck in the tentacles and they fall to the ground, and
Big
whatever.
time.
So this next scene is honestly kind of terrifying because
But it's beautiful. It's
next scene
actually
is
one of
really
the
cool.
coolest looking scenes.
yeah,
I
it's
think.
definitely very cool looking. But also, I did a report on jellyfish in elementary school, and those things are no joke.
They
You
are
don't-
very scary.
You don't want to get near a jellyfish; they could kill one of us, depending on the kind of jellyfish.
Oh
it is.
yeah.
Right.
So they decide to bounce on the tops because the tops don't sting you. And Marlin kind of lets loose a little bit now. He's like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to beat you. And it is really super sad that Dory gets stung, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, 'cause
but
she was doing very well and then fell behind.
but
I
it's
guess.
okay. But I think this was like a turning point in the relationship.
For sure.
Like, it was like, okay, maybe I need to start trusting Dory now. Well, it's okay because they meet some turtles. And this is my favorite part of
Yes.
the movie. I literally think that Crush's character is so funny. Like, just, he's the most chill little turtle ever. I mean, he's not little. He's 150, but
I mean, he's a big turtle.
he's a big turtle. So they finally get to the EAC, which is where they're supposed to be. And Crush introducing Squirt and all the little turtles is brilliant. And I think Marlin meeting someone who's so, like, open and trusts his kids and, like, does things like that was good. Like, he saw another basically single father figure because I didn't see the mom anywhere, you know. So I think that was helpful for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is after Dory has been hurt, so he's in like double dad mode. He's like, well, my new friend is down for the count. Before she starts getting up and playing with all the turtles, and then also my son is still missing, but this guy is able to have fun with his son who, in a dangerous-ish situation, and still trust him, and they're going on famously, and he's living to 150 years old, so should be fine.
Should be fine.
Should be fine.
Should be fine.
Should be
Righteous,
okay.
righteous. I love the little
Yeah.
turtle talk with Crush show. At
Crush,
Disneyland.
I think
So good.
is my favorite.
Righteous.
He's definitely very
and
cool.
Squirt. I like Squirt.
Yeah.
When he's trying to tell them how to exit, he's like, ribbon, rolling, punching. And they're like, I don't know what you're trying to
It's
say.
like he's trying to speak to me.
I know it.
understand.
So I think we need to arc back to where Nemo is during all of this nonsense.
Oh yeah, we've kind of skipped over Nemo. So Nemo gets taken by
I
the
love that you just called him Mino because that's what
Mino.
Addie calls him.
Mino.
She's like, Mino.
Finding
Oh,
Mino.
that's so cute.
Yeah, so Nemo has been taken by the dentist
Shark bait. Ooh, ha, ha.
to live in his fish tank in the dentist's office. And this is another inspiration for the movie. Andrew Stanton, the director, said that he was inspired to do this because when he was a kid, the only good thing about the dentist was the fish tank in the dentist's
Yeah.
office. And
Oh,
Most
okay.
fish tanks are in dentist office.
he would go look at the fish and assume that they were taken from the ocean and just wanted to get back home. So that's kind of like the whole crux of
That's so
of the
clever.
story, which
But
is very fun.
I even appreciated the fish tank just because I was like, this is a good ecosystem. He has the shrimp to keep everything clean.
Mhm.
He has the starfish for looks, and then he has the different kind of fishies
Yep.
and Flo
the
and
one
my
that just loves bubbles.
and you know. And then he has a puffer fish. Like if I saw his aquarium, I'd be like, yeah, this is a legit aquarium.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Like he has very cool fish
Oh
in
yeah,
there.
It's very
for
cool.
sure.
And the shrimp, Jacques, to keep things clean.
Wait.
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 How does he do that little click? I can't do the pop.
Well, I know he pops.
Yeah, there we go. So,
Andre with the effects, everyone.
and it's sad because poor Nemo's like a baby fish, and he's terrified because he's like in this confined space, which is crazy because I'm not used to it. But he gets sucked up into the filter, which is even more sad. I'm like, he's that small. He got sucked up into the filter.
Yeah.
And so Gil comes out, and Gil is like the ringleader of these fishies. He's like an anglerfish or something, but he's like black and yellow, and he has like all these scars and like a broken fin. We don't really know what happened to him. Like they never really say what
No.
happened to him. We just know he's kind of been
He's been
messed
injured.
up,
Mhm.
injured. So he's got a hard shell. I don't know.
Hard
you know,
exterior.
it's funny because this was another moment in the movie. Well, there's a couple moments in the fish tank where I, as a kid, didn't like it and or didn't understand it, so I didn't like it kind of
Yeah.
a thing. Because so Nemo gets sucked up into the filter, and immediately Gil is like, don't help him. He needs to get out on his own. And I
Right.
think in my kid brain I was like,
That's rude.
ooh,
He's
like,
mean.
he is so
He's the bad
mean.
one.
I
Yes.
like Gil a lot.
And I thought he was like really like a bad character, and then I don't think I understood like his character, like how he then was a good guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But as an adult, I'm looking at it, and there, unfortunately, there's like a lot of different ways you can look at it. Like number one, he wanted Nemo to be able to get out on his
Do
own
it
to
for
like
himself.
prove to himself he could do it.
Mhm.
But then he also wanted him to be able to get out so that he could
You
then
could test him.
to use him to have everyone get out.
Yes. Gil,
That's why he initiated him. Gil is smart.
Yes.
Gil's main ammo is getting back to the ocean. And you
Gil
can tell
is
he
like
just
a-
stews on it.
he's like
every
a
day.
classic Obi-Wan Dumbledore figure. He's like,
For sure.
this kid is gonna solve all my problems.
100%.
I just gotta train him up a little
and
bit.
Gil realizes he's in the wrong, like when
Yeah.
Nemo almost gets hurt and
Right.
stuff. But my favorite fish tank scene is when they initiate him. It's just so ridiculous.
Well, and this is the other part.
You didn't think that was funny as a kid?
as a kid? I didn't get it.
Shark
Like,
bait. Ooh ha ha.
I thought they were being mean to him.
Right.
Like I thought that they were gonna
Oh.
like hurt him. Like
Make him go through the ring of fire.
yeah. Like I thought it was gonna
Mount
be.
Wanahakalugi.
I thought it was a bad thing, but like now as an adult, I'm like, this is hilarious.
Oh, it
It's
was
so
literally like me and my sisters used to always like say Wanahakalugi all the time because it's just so funny.
I
Or
think
go around the house chanting like shark bait. Ooh ha ha.
we did a lot of
So funny.
ah, ooh, wah, hee, ha, ho, 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 ha, ooh, wah, hee, ha, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah,
At
a lot
school.
of that. At school. A lot of that. It's literally, it's kind of culty, but it's hilarious. And it
we
does
were-
seem
Kinda
like it's so
culty.
dangerous, but he just swims through the bubbles.
Yeah.
It's like,
Be honest,
oh.
me and Michelle were in a sorority, so
Yeah.
it's
true.
not
Some
that culty.
secret
It's
society
not-
nonsense.
But it's just funny. And I like how the like half purple, half yellow fish is like, ooh.
Our initiation was not that
The
cool.
starfish is like, he's too young.
Being all dramatic.
But we know like they're being dramatic on purpose to like scare Nemo,
Yeah.
which is
The fish
just
tank scenes are really funny. Like there's a
so
lot of
funny.
humor in the and that initiation scene is like the funniest.
God.
It's peak funny.
and it's like the scene I remember the most as a kid, like loving, which is so
Yes.
funny that you thought like they were being mean.
Yeah.
But I think my parents thought it was so funny, and then we just all were like, it's so funny. You
Well,
know?
and now I think it's even funnier because so you're watching this scene, and I don't think I understood like to the fish already there what it meant to initiate.
Right,
him.
yes.
Like now that he was initiated, they were gonna do whatever it took to save him.
yes.
because
now he's one of us.
right. So I mean, I guess had they not initiated him, they would have like let him
Been cold to him.
like. Bye.
Give him a
Let
cold
Darla
fish
shake
shoulder.
you to death.
yeah, right. You know what? Get out of here. You're better off in Darla's hands.
But it's funny because like once that scene happened, no matter what, you felt like the camaraderie, like they were going to save Nemo.
Yes, absolutely.
So that was really
is a
cute,
new
but also
Fish tank buddy, and the fact that they call him shark bait is.
you want to
really
know the
funny.
funniest thing about this whole thing? So we watched this movie, and my mom laughs the first time they call him shark bait.
Okay.
Like, and I just thought she was laughing because like, and again, we were, how old were we at 2003?
I think 11 or 12.
early, okay,
Something
early.
Like that, yeah.
And my mom like laughed super hard. And then after we come out of the theater and my mom tells me, my friends used to call me shark bait in high school.
What?
I was like, what? She's like, because I'm so white, they used to call me shark bait. And I'm like, what? So anywho, my mom
I'm calling
is
your mom
Nemo.
shark bait the next time I see her. That is hilarious.
I thought it was so funny.
Oh my goodness.
So there you go, full circle shark
Yeah,
bait.
shark bait. Ooh ha ha. Oh, that's great.
Nice job, Carol.
So yeah, so Nemo is in the fish tank, and it's not a terrible existence in there, but he does want to get back home, and which is also helpful because all of the other fish in there are ready to leave as well.
For sure.
So they've been planning little escapes here and there throughout the years, I guess, and now that Nemo is here, they can probably enact this new escape plan, which is also important because the dentist, he took Nemo in the first place, I guess, so that he could give him as a gift to Darla, his niece, who is one of the most terrifying little children.
Scariest looking little
She's
7
like
or 8 year old.
8. Why does she have full on braces? It doesn't make any sense. Those are baby teeth.
Those are messed up.
He was just practicing orthodontistry.
And he is way too excited.
Yes.
No, excuse me. She is way too excited, and she shakes every fish to death.
Every fish, like no matter what. I don't think she's ever gotten a fish all the way home because as soon as a bag is handed to her, he probably should just take the fish over to her house and put it in her fish tank rather than handing her a fish in a bag. That'd probably be smart.
Yeah, that would just fix the whole problem.
Yeah, it would
She ain't
fix
gonna
everything.
shake the whole
Yes.
tank.
So Darla is an impending doom for Nemo. So they
Which
have
is hilarious that
Yes.
a child is the impending
yeah.
doom.
So they have to escape out of the fish tank before she gets there. Otherwise, Nemo's dead and they can't escape and they're stuck in the fish tank forever. So the plan is to dirty up the fish tank so much so that that the dentist has to take them out to clean it, and then they can, within their bags, roll out of the window, go across a busy street, and fall into the ocean.
My favorite thing is that they know him so well that they know that he's going to individually
Oh my
baggy
God.
them, and then
They're all dental experts. They're all just they're all just watching him do dentist stuff
is
all
this
the time.
excisor,
Right.
extrusion,
Subterraneous.
And then the seagull flies in and is like, "Oh, they're doing a root canal. Is he using the blah blah blah?"
He watches too. Like, goodness gracious, this dude got too many animals in his office.
This cannot be a clean,
No, this is a medical office.
gross.
He's got a pelican in the window.
It's
often.
a pelican. You're right. It's not a seagull.
Right? Yeah. No, the seagulls are the
Seagulls are the
dumber ones.
minds. Okay, so let's talk about the pelican, because the pelican is actually super, super instrumental.
Yeah, he's cool.
in this
What
in the seal.
What is his
So
name?
I don't know.
Nigel.
Nigel,
played by Jeffrey Rush
Jeffrey Rush
from Pirates.
Jeffrey Rush is Barbossa, one of my
yes.
favorite characters. So Nigel is really important because as a pelican, we know that the way that they get fish is they fly really low, scoop up water and fish, and then
just keep it in their big old mouths
Yeah.
for a little while, and
And
then
then-
snack throughout the day, I guess.
and have perpetual snackage.
Yeah.
Michelle, be a pelican. I feel like.
Hashtag always snacking.
But anywho, so as a fish, you already fear birds, but like I feel like pelicans are like extra scary.
Right.
So he knows about Nemo because he comes in the window and he likes Nemo, and everyone's talking about this fish who is like swum across
Yes.
the ocean to find
The
their kid.
tale of Marlin going to find Nemo has been spread far and wide throughout the ocean.
which is just too fantastic.
Honestly, it's a great game of telephone. They're all getting all the right beats. Like, it
Oh, I
doesn't seem
know.
over-exaggerated at all or anything.
No, it's not like when we play telephone and we go from I like potatoes to
I remember potato farmer, and I've created the potato famine on accident. And
I am Irish. I love. I died in the potato famine. But anywho, so Marlin and Dory finally make it into the Sydney harbor, and unfortunately, they probably are like, "Where in the world is the actual
Right.
like address?"
How are we gonna find 42 Wallaby Way?
right? But they're there, and Nigel overhears that. Doesn't he overhear? Like they flop up onto the
Yes.
deck, and he overhears them, and he has to convince them. Can you imagine?
Right.
Convince
Hop
them
into my mouth.
to jump into his mouth
Because
and,
all of the seagulls are there going, mine?
and he's like, I am not jumping into your mouth. You're gonna eat me. And he's like, I know your son. I know where he's at.
If you want to live.
If you want to live, jump in my mouth. So they end up jumping in his mouth.
Yes. They hop in there. I think they take it on faith, basically, because the seagulls are coming in. They're incoming.
I'd rather be in his mouth than be in a seagull's beak.
Right, yeah.
Let's be real. At least you're not getting smushed.
It's a much more open space. There's a lot more square footage in the
There's
pelican's
water
mouth.
in there. Like, you're going to be okay.
Yes.
At least until he swallows you.
Yes. So it's a cool action scene where Nigel scoops them up, scoops up water to keep them alive in there, and then is flying away from all the seagulls. mine.
It literally looks like a war scene. Like
Yes.
when like all the fighter pilot jets are coming in and they're like following you. Those
And then he does a cool move through a sail where he goes sideways, and then all the seagulls plop into the sail. It's fantastic. All
That's
the beaks
fantastic.
Squeak through.
So where do they go from there? Because I don't remember. Did they actually make it into the window?
I think.
Yes, he gets through the
That's
window.
what- Michelle.
The bird? Yeah, the bird, remember, gets in the window, and the dentist is like, what's happening?
yes.
And then Darla grabs Nemo's thing and starts shaking him, and they're like,
Yes.
no. So Nemo's playing dead because his plan is to get flushed down the drain, and all drains lead to the ocean.
Yes.
But Marlin sees Nemo playing dead, and so
Yeah.
does Dory and the bird, and so they think he's really dead.
Yeah.
And so they're basically like,
Rough.
well, we were
Yes. We came
just
all
a
this
little bit
way
late.
just to see my
But
son's dead body.
Gil, the other father figure, who like really cares about Nemo at this point, goes in the volcano, does the ring of fire, falls out, lands on top of Darla's head. Darla drops Nemo on the thing. His bag breaks, and then he somehow manages to like push
flop.
the tray to flop Nemo down the drain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he puts Gil back in the water.
Yeah, the fish tank.
So they're all happy. They're like, "Yay, he did it!" But Nemo, Marlin, and Nigel think that he's dead.
Yeah.
So,
So I think
basically,
then-
at that point, it's like
Then Nigel
alright.
takes Marlin and Dory
Back to the
to like a
ocean.
buoy, to the ocean. Is like, I'm sorry,
And then
dude.
Marlin's like, I'm going home, and he has this really sad conversation with Dory, and Dory's like, it's really sad,
It's
actually.
very
Like,
sad.
I remember things with you. Like, you can't leave me. See, I'll prove myself. It's P. Sherman. Like, she's trying to do all this stuff, and Marlin.
Well, and here's the sad part. We just did Wreck-It Ralph, right? Excuse me. We did Ralph Breaks the Internet. And it's just a different portrayal of
Friendship.
but also like insecurity, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But this was done in such a different way that it was not annoying. It was
Right,
like
No.
it was just
I can
heartbreaking.
justify
you know
it.
what
It
I
was,
mean?
Yeah.
and at this point, I mean, if I was Marlin, yeah, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. I
but
have
to
to go
Dory,
grieve.
she's like, I don't want to be alone again. You know, like at least we're friends now. You know, but it's really hard, and it's
I can imagine where he feels like she would be a constant reminder of like
yeah.
not being fast
Of
enough.
him
Or not-
losing
yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yes.
So
But it's sad
hard.
all the way around. You're like, but don't leave her.
I know,
You need her.
like Dory's actually a really good friend, you know. But it ends up working out because although he leaves Dory, she forgets everything. She runs into Nemo and then doesn't remember about Nemo at first, but eventually she does. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I found you! Like you're not dead. We're gonna go find your dad, right?"
Yeah.
So they do find him, and they have their little hug reunion, which is super cute when they swim into each other's arms.
I see the crabs.
But then this is where
Hey, hey.
we're testing Marlin at this point. Is Marlin gonna go be okay with Nemo trying to save all of these fish that are getting sucked into this net? And so this is really like, okay, yes, we're reunited, but are things gonna change?
Yeah. Are you going to
Are
be the
you
dad
gonna-
that trusts me or
yeah.
not?
right.
And he does. He's like, you know, you're right. I'm gonna trust you. And so they're swimming down.
Swim down.
Because that's what they did in the
fish tank.
In the
yeah.
fish tank with Gil swimming down so that he wouldn't get put in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up working, but Nemo kind of gets like hit because he's so tiny. He kind of gets hit, and Marlin's freaking out, but he's okay. So it was really just like the ending of like their relationship arc. Like, okay,
Yeah.
we're okay.
Yeah.
And then they go back home, and thank goodness they take Dory with them because I was like, I wouldn't. And you could tell Nemo right away likes Dory.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Nemo right away likes Dory. Like they're gonna be friends forever, which they are. You know, they're friends. And then this is what's so funny. Like you said, it's like Crush is there dropping off Squirt. So I guess
Yeah,
they're-
Squirt's going to
well,
school.
and at this point, Marlin's like a legend.
Oh, for
Right?
sure.
Like,
Yes.
He straight up
everybody in
is
the ocean's
the man.
everybody in the ocean's talking about him. So I'm sure the ones who actually helped him, you know, like Crush and Squirt and people, they're like, shoot, let's go live with him.
Right.
You know,
Let's
like,
go hang out with Marlin.
let's go hang out with him because
incredible clownfish.
they're basically like this weird. He almost had like a family arc. Like now he has a lot of people who care about him or who are basically like his family.
And he's
it's like
more
Uncle Crush, and you know,
He's more Marlin himself is more confident and
In himself,
and
yeah.
he can feel more like himself. He's less PTSD, OCD, and he can finally get through that sea cucumber joke.
Oh my god.
which is like
he's been trying to
thank
tell
goodness, and it's actually
for an hour and a
funny.
half.
It's actually funny. Like the punchline, I can't remember exactly, but
I don't
it
remember
was
what it
actually
was.
funny. And then the sharks drop Dory off. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, and that's the cool thing is that he finds the family that he lost.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He does.
He's able to and it's the most diverse family that he would have never ever
Absolutely.
had.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
even a little bit.
He's
of-
friends with a shark and a turtle and a forgetful fish.
It's just fantastic. But
it's sad that it took this whole journey for them to get there, because that's like super depressing.
Yes.
But that's what makes a good story. So
Oh, for sure. Well, and the one thing that I didn't bring up, which is I think my favorite running joke through this movie, it really is hilarious to me, is that Dory only calls Nemo maybe once or twice. Like,
oh, your son Harpo?
I'm pretty sure she called him like Chico.
Chico, when she calls him Chico, yeah.
He's trying to look for his son Fabio.
So ridiculous.
And I just feel like that was an Ellen DeGeneres thing,
For
too.
sure.
Like,
But she
gosh.
literally has so many names for him.
Fantastic.
That's one of my favorite running jokes.
Hilarious.
she finally,
Nemo.
even at the end, she's like, "Bye, Miklo," and he's like, "It's Nemo, bye, Nemo," something like that. But
Oh my God.
it's quite funny.
Yeah.
And then another thing I want to talk about is like this score for this movie is beautiful.
Yes.
Like
Gorgeous.
I
It's
remember
jolly good.
in the opening scenes with like all of the choral and everything like that. It's like this very like doo-doo, like
It goes
ethereal,
doo-doo,
like very ethereal song that's also like engraved in my brain at this
Oh,
point.
for sure.
Like I hear that and I'm like, that's Finding Nemo. But the score is beautiful. So whoever did the score for this, and it sounds like the ocean.
Yes.
Like I don't know how they did that, but it does. Like it fits perfectly.
The music was
Agreed.
done by Mr. Thomas Newman.
Well, you did a good job, Thomas Newman.
Thank you,
He was
Tommy.
also in the music department for Wall-E. I don't think he wasn't.
Ooh.
He wasn't the composer
Yeah, but it has some similar themes to Wall-E, kind
though.
of.
Yeah.
You know?
He did,
Like ethereal, just sounds like water. Very, very good.
he did Saving
And
Mr.
then,
Banks.
of course, I love the ending credits song, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, obviously, because I walked out to that song on my wedding.
Obviously.
Definitely a different version of that song, a slow version, but, you know.
Yes, you did.
Oh.
And
I
I
know.
cried. And Andre cried.
Because it was the perfect
I
song for
definitely
me.
cried.
That was literally, I couldn't have walked out.
Wasn't
to
so
a
much
more
the
perfect
song that was doing it for. It was like the whole ordeal and.
Oh, you mean
mostly my
Michelle
wife.
being so
Yes.
gorgeous?
Well, I remember being in the back and being like, Dad, we can't walk out until she starts singing. We have to stand here and then make them wait. And then when she starts singing, we'll walk out.
Make
Because I was
them
trying to be
wait.
dramatic.
It
you
was
know?
dramatic.
It
It was
was.
beautiful.
It was-
I really
it was-
liked
I
it.
was
looked at
jolly good.
Michelle. I went, and then I thought, I'm not going to cry. I'm going to look at Andre. And I look at Andre, and he started
And
crying.
I'm
I'm like,
bawling.
no.
Andre was bawling.
Feels.
We didn't.
And I got proposed to in front of the Little Mermaid, so there's some ocean themes going on. But what's to be expected of Michelle? Nothing less.
We didn't talk about this, but I don't remember if it's after like Nemo and Marlin are united, but you see the rest of the fish tank crew. They actually get out. Their plan works. So Gil and
It's
the
like
rest
after
of them.
the credits.
Yeah, it must be after the credits. So Gil and the rest of them, they get out into their bags. They roll out the window. They cross the street. They hop into the ocean, and
The
then
starfish is like, whoa, that's the shortest red light I've ever seen.
and then they're like, well. Now what?
And
And they're all
in
just
the
in bags.
floating on top.
on
I'm
top
like
of the
hoping
ocean.
in my mind that Nigel comes and like pops them all with his
Exactly.
beak or
That
would be
something,
nice.
you know, or even the seagulls are gonna be like,
Oh,
how do
yeah.
we get in there? And
They
they might
try to
pop
get
it
'em.
and then they'll just fall down
Yeah.
or something,
Whew.
you know. That's kind of how I want to view that, but
All right, let's talk Easter eggs, just because it is Pixar, so there are
Yeah.
some Easter eggs
of course,
here.
Buzz. I think I saw Buzz Lightyear
You
once.
did see
Yes.
Buzz.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna. I have them all screenshot, so I'm just gonna go through the list
Perfect.
of stuff that I found. So. This is funny too, is that pretty much every time we go back into the dentist office, you either see like the waiting room and you hear like the ridiculous stuff that's happening inside the dentist office. If I was the parent of
The
a kid
waiting
out
room
there, I would have
music.
been like, no.
At one point,
Like,
when Nigel is in there and he's like flapping around and knocking stuff over, and the kid in there is like screaming, and then the kid in the waiting room was like, "Oh my god!"
that's the exact picture I'm looking at. It's the kid's like eyes that are like, I am not going in there. He's holding a magazine that he's reading, and the outside of the magazine cover has the advertisement for The Incredibles.
Oh,
On the outside.
Yeah. So
we watched
when
the DVD.
you gave us the DVD, it had like the commercials for like
Mhm.
movies to come out, and I think Incredibles was coming
Yeah, it
out
had that
like
trailer.
soon. Yeah.
Exactly.
which is a scene that's not in the Incredibles movie, which is really cool.
Right? Don't you love when that
He's trying to
happens?
put on a belt.
We talked about this in Monsters Inc., but in one part of Monsters Inc. at the end, when Sully's putting Boo back into her room,
Mhm.
she's handing him toys because she doesn't want him to leave.
Yes.
Now that I have a toddler, that is exactly what they do.
Mhm.
And she hands him a Finding Nemo toy. It's like, it is Nemo.
Interesting.
In Toy Story 3, when they're inside of the, they go to the crazy daycare.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
Mr. Ray, the manta,
Mhm.
the manta ray,
The
he
manta
is
ray.
on a shelf. He's hanging out as a Stuffy. You were right. Buzz Lightyear is like near the toy chest in the dentist office.
Yes.
He's laying
Yeah.
on the floor.
Saw that one.
You saw that one.
In Toy Story 2, Nemo is in a painting on a toy chest in Andy's room.
Oh.
And what else? Oh, and then at the end credits, you see Mike Wazowski swimming through with a snorkel.
That's funny.
Cute.
Yes.
Did you see the Pizza Planet truck?
I think did it go by outside the window?
Yeah.
It goes by when
Okay.
they're planning their escape, and they show them like rolling out the window. You see the Pizza Planet
it
truck
drives
by.
I
It's
didn't see it, but
it's
Andre-
very fast.
Andre
and it's
pointed
funny
it out.
because I found one that said it's very similar. It's like if you blink, you'll miss it.
Mhm.
They say that in Finding Nemo, you see Luigi from Cars, and it does look
Oh.
like a little Fiat, like a little yellow Fiat, and it looks like the windshield could be white where his
Where
eyes
his
are,
Yeah.
Okay.
but you can't really tell.
tell.
So I mean, maybe, but
Yeah.
who knows,
Who knows?
right?
Yeah.
But then the last one is A113, our normal recurring, is on the outside of P. Sherman's camera when he's going to take the picture of Nemo
Yes.
first.
Yes.
So
yes,
it's
yes.
up in the
When he
corner on
blinds
his...
Marlin.
Mhm. So there you go.
All right.
Those are some good
Some
ones.
Pixar Easter
P.
eggs.
Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
And
We haven't really got to do Easter eggs that much because we've been doing like primarily like Walt Disney movies, especially the
Yeah.
old ones.
right.
You're not going to have...
There's not a lot of
Yeah.
no hidden Mickeys.
You don't want to see like a Cinderella Easter egg for, I don't know, Pocahontas?
Yeah.
Not really, no.
I'm
okay on that.
On
So
those
this
older
movie is still very, very popular.
Yes.
There's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole area in Epcot that's like Finding Nemo themed and under the sea. There's the Crush Show. I think there might be a ride somewhere or other, but like I'm assuming this movie made some bank.
Oh yeah. This movie had a $94 million budget, which is
Oh, that's kind of hefty.
which is pretty high, you know. But it has a worldwide gross of $940 million.
Oh, so they fine.
This movie almost made $1 billion in 2003.
So that's just that 1 year.
So that's
Oh, that's just the movie.
That's not like the releases and stuff?
I mean that's with all its releases, but I don't think it was re-released
wow.
that many times. Like they might have done like a 3D re-release or something like that, but that's mostly foreign. So it has $380 million domestic and then $559 million foreign. So
Crazy.
People be liking their Nemo.
absolutely.
I would
Yeah.
love to know how people in Australia like this movie. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
wonder if
Because
this
it's
is their
primarily
favorite.
an Australian thing.
I really
probably
like
like
that.
it.
I think that's very interesting that they decided to set it in Australia and they have a bunch of people with Australian accents.
Righteous.
Yeah, Crush is there.
But do they think that it's like overly
is it
done?
like pandering
You know
or
what I mean?
something?
Maybe.
Who
It
knows?
might.
If so, they didn't speak about that with the critics because the critics loved this movie
Oh, yeah.
when it came out. This movie has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
99.
Emily.
Well, I wouldn't disagree because, like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with
And
this
at the
movie.
time it came out, like we're having to remember too that this was like one of Pixar's original stories. Like it was an original story. It was something different. And they hyped this movie up for a while. Like I remember seeing just like a little tidbit of an ocean, Finding Nemo, you know, like stuff like that. So I understand why it was so popular.
Well, and I think that even now rewatching it, however many years later,
I think we're recording this on like its 16th anniversary actually.
the animation is
beautiful.
gorgeous. So if we're looking that far in the future, I mean, think about other movies that came out at that same time, and you're like, that is awful.
Yeah.
This movie blew my mind when I saw it. I mean, I loved it. Like it's very good. So I'll go ahead and give it my rating. I'm giving this movie a 9.5 because it's really. Why am I not giving it a 10? I don't know. Because it's very, very. I'll give it a 10. It holds,
Okay.
It holds up for me. It's like yeah, like it's just really good. It's like high up there with Wall-E for me in the Pixar movie realm, and it has water, so you know.
It has water.
Andre.
I think I'm gonna give this movie a 9.5 myself. It's really good. I love all the characters in it. Dory is a fantastic creation. I love Crush. I love Nigel. I love like everybody. Willem Dafoe plays Gil. That's crazy. The Green Goblin is in this movie. It's
Hilarious. I dig it.
I know when you told me that, I was like, oh, he kind of looks like Gil.
Yeah, this movie is really fun. Has a great story. Has a great message, and it's extremely well executed.
Also, like, this is a kids movie that I would feel no regrets showing my kids. Some of the princess ones get a little wonky with like the old fashioned
like their
themes,
messaging,
but
and
like
stuff.
I could show this to my kid and be like, cool, like
Yeah.
they can watch it all they
You
want.
see what I have to go through every time you disappear? You see this? I gotta cross the whole ocean.
I'm gonna give this movie a 9 as well. Not so much because of my own like feelings on it, but just because it's that good.
It's good.
Like
Yeah.
it really is good. It's just not my favorite story per
Right.
se.
Your cup of
Which
tea.
is still basically how I feel about Finding Dory. So
Nathan Lane, who voices Timon in The Lion King, he said that this is his favorite movie. His favorite animated movie.
Oh, I was
He's
gonna
in
say,
The
like,
Lion
ever?
King, and he said that this is his favorite animated movie.
well,
That's
just different
hilarious.
kind of animals, I guess.
He's like, I am impartial
I prefer the
to
ocean
these
to
other kind of
the
animals.
desert
That's so
and
funny.
the jungle.
And Luis is in the other room, but we'll get his.
We'll get his thing in a second.
In
At
another
some point,
day.
yes. In the meantime, what are we doing next week? Next
We are
time.
doing, I think, our final princess movie.
Is it our final one?
I think
mean,
it's
I
our
guess
final princess movie.
for now.
Until another one comes out,
yeah,
I
until a
guess.
new one comes out. Yes, we are going to be doing the.
Did we do Tangled?
Yeah.
Heck yes, we did. Tangled.
Okay, then it's our final princess movie. Yes, we are doing the OG, the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yes, this movie came out in 1937. This movie is older than your grandma. Okay.
Ooh, all right. Older than your grandma, he said.
Older than your grandma.
We're doing it. We're going back to the original movie. It's been a long time coming. We've put it off. We're doing it.
Yeah, we'll see how well it holds up.
You're welcome.
Wishing.
I remember watching.
Amber.
I remember.
You know how many times I'm going to say that next week?
I remember rewatching this Snow White in college, and I didn't like it as much as when I watched it when I was a kid. So we'll see how it stacks up.
I haven't watched this movie in years and years and
Again.
years and years.
Luis and I
years.
watched it. We bought it on Blu-ray.
Oh,
and we got
perfect. We
it
can borrow it.
a couple, probably about a year ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And Luis's eyes looked at me like, "What
What
is
are we
this?"
watching?
So I'm really interested to talk about it because
Yeah.
we have to think about it in time period. Do you know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Because this isn't even like a movie from the 60s.
Right,
It's
no.
a movie from
The
30s.
30s.
Like,
You know what I'm
it's
gonna-
almost like think about it. We're closer to it being 100 years old than we
Yeah.
are to it being 50 years old.
Holy
Like that's
moly.
kind of insane.
Oh
I'm
my
going to watch
goodness.
this movie and then I'm going to watch Maleficent. That's what I'm going to do.
You know,
Just
Maleficent
kidding.
is based off Sleeping Beauty, though,
This
right?
is so awkward right now.
I wish everyone could see my face right
I
now. I
need
went
more
through the whole
coffee. I need more coffee.
I went through the full ranges of grief on my face in
Wait.
like
Hey,
5
Hey,
seconds.
Luis, what is your rating of the Finding Nemo?
It's on the
The
floor. Oh,
Finding Nemo.
The Finding Nemo.
The Finding Nemo.
The Nemo's defined.
I'll give it a 7.
7.
7.
Out of
Dang,
10.
It
he
wasn't-
took it down.
It wasn't the greatest
Because of the
movie.
animation or because of the story?
No, just.
Yeah.
Did you?
It's a 7 because I don't want to be mean and it doesn't warrant an explanation.
Yeah. Adeline, do you like Finding Nemo? Do you like Finding Nemo? She said, yeah.
She did say yes, but I will
Said
tell
yeah.
you this. It took us 3 different nights to watch it, and she
yeah.
got very uninterested every time.
Okay.
Oh,
Which is
interesting.
which again, I wonder if it's because she's like me, where like as a kid it just wasn't
It's
like
not,
hitting
uh,
her.
Well,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
certain movies that hit with. It depends on the age of the kid,
For
man.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
There was no music, there was no singing,
yeah,
so she didn't care.
That's true,
Because
yeah.
Addie is a dancer, like
Yeah.
she wants to get up and dance, and when there's no
Pixar
music-
movies are honestly a little bit older theme. Like they have
For
to be a
sure.
little bit older. But I bet you she'll love Toy Story first.
Oh, because it's more
Toys.
kiddish.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. All right, we are peacing out. We are.
Hold on, tell
signing-
them about what we're gonna do after that though, because that's a
Oh,
hype
yes.
up.
So,
Oh.
after Snow White, after we go back to the beginning, we're jumping up to very recently, new purchase by Disney. We're going to do a second Summer of Marvel.
Summer of Marvel.
Yeah, so we have yet to decide which Marvel movies we're
We're
going
gonna
to
need
watch.
y'all's
But
input too.
there's,
So
aside from the, I think, 3 or 4 that we did last
did
year.
4 last
We've
year.
got, I think, 18 other movies to choose from.
So here's the deal, everyone. We did our Summer of Marvel last year. You guys loved it, and we're really excited to do it again. So I think what we'll do is we'll do some like voting.
Yeah.
Like maybe we'll do in the next couple of weeks like some tiered voting to see
Yeah.
which ones that we come up with. Because I mean, we
need to know.
we can just we can pick them, but we
Yeah.
want you to like them too.
Yeah, we can do sequels. We can do whatever
do
you want.
whatever y'all want, because let's be real, some of the sequel Captain Americas are better than the original Captain America. So,
Winter
you know,
Soldier's the biz. I think
Winter
that's one of my
Soldier
favorites.
is
Absolute-
the
Winter Soldier is my
business.
number one.
We might do
Out of
that
all
one.
of them, yeah.
Out of all
We
That's really
might
good.
do that one. I don't know. Let us know.
Let us know. All right, and you can let us know by visiting us on social media. We are at the Walt Vault Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit us up on any of those to let us know which Marvel movies we should talk about. Instagram is kind of the hot one, though. You can also send us an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. If you do that, I will read your message on the show because I like me an email. You can support us by subscribing, whatever podcast platform you're on. Just hit the subscribe button. We're on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher and Google Play and YouTube. We're everywhere. Leave a comment down below. Let us know how you liked Finding Nemo, what your score is, what your favorite animal is, all that good stuff. And you can also support us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/thewaltvaultpod and get access to our after show, Cracking the Vault. I post my notes, and there's some Kingdom Hearts gameplays on there. So check them all out. Oh, okay. Addie's just going to talk over me. That's fine, because we are done.
Talks over me all the time. Welcome to my world.
Wait.
Oh,
Okay, bye-bye.
oh, okay. That's it, you guys. The vault is now closed.